Hello, hello. Happy New Year to you. Welcome to episode 183 of the FAB and Fearless Business Booster Shot Show. My name is Yinka. I am a business strategist, a coach, a speaker, and an author. And I support women to create wealth in and through their businesses by helping them to focus on what matters most for the business, which is cash flow and strategy, and what matters most for the business owner, which is mindset and habits. It is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you to this 183rd episode of the Booster Shot Show, where each week at 1:30 p.m. UK time on a Wednesday, I come to you with a short, sharp shot to boost both you and your business with one powerful truth and one actionable tip. So if you can see and hear me over on my LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube socials, jump into the chat, come and say hello, and let us get this party started. Today, we are talking about where to start to win when it comes to your cash flow. And I'm really excited to share this insight with you, not least because it is possibly the most asked question I get. Where do I actually get started? So excited to share this with you today. Let me see who is in the chat. Let me check that the tech is not teching, and then we are able to rock and roll. I can see that I am live over. I can see some comments over from LinkedIn. I've got LinkedIn user, so I actually can't see who that is. But welcome to today's Booster Shot Show. Excited to have you here. Thank you so much for joining me live. I can definitely see that I am live over on LinkedIn. So let me just double check Facebook, and then I can always upload onto YouTube later if it is not streaming as expected. But I'm really, really excited to share today's insight with you because we can have all the brilliant intentions in the world. We can have, hello, fabulous Asmara, thank you for joining me and letting me know that LinkedIn is indeed not teching for once. So good to have you here, awesome lady. How are you doing? Let me know on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being, things could not be any worse. 10 being, yay, things could not be any better. How are you doing today? We'd love to see it. It is, you totally are my favorite, Asmara. Absolutely. I can't say that I have only one favorite, but I can definitely say that you are one of them. So yeah, feel free to tell the others. They can find out if they are part of my favorites too. We're talking about where to get started because we often have it in mind that the start is something at the beginning of something. And obviously that makes logical sense. But the reason why I'm sharing this today is because when it comes to cash flow, money, when it comes to your business, I share quite a lot of the time that the masters never don't do the basics. That the basics it's where it's at. That the basics are where we have to come back to if we are going to truly succeed. And so going back to the start is something that is incredibly valuable and incredibly powerful on an ongoing basis. That's the reason why I am sharing this today, because it isn't about you being at the beginning of a journey or having never done this before or anything like that. What this is about is making sure that you are well equipped wherever you are in the journey. It is really important for us to recognize and understand that whether you are looking for your first sale or about to hit your first million, cash flow will impact both of those businesses in almost exactly the same way. Cash flow is an all business issue, not a small business issue. It impacts every business. It impacts every business owner and is the only factor that keeps a business in business. And so I often, and I spent a lot of time last year shifting the narrative and helping people to understand that cash flow wasn't just about getting started. It isn't just about what the accountants are talking about. It is about your business initially, survival, and then stability, and then strength, and then thriving. And so I'm really excited to be able to share this message around where to get started to win, because wherever you are, if you're already winning and want to win some more, this will help you. If you have never done anything to do with cash flow at all and you want to know exactly where to get started, this will help you too. Hello, fabulous Ratna. It is so exciting to have you join us. Happy New Year to you, awesome lady. Really, really excited to have you in the room. And it is a real joy to be able to share these insights with you ladies. Before I get going on today's message, I would just love for you to tag a friend, tag somebody that you know specifically, who does great things in the world, who is brilliant at what she does, and yet you also know that she would not say no to more cash flowing into her bank account. Tag her, let her know that she is absolutely welcome. Hey, Oluwafemi, thank you so much for joining me, my friend. It is so great to have you. And thank you for repeating those stages of stability, strength, and then that thriving. So cash flow is there for your survival, for your stability, for your strength, and then for you to thrive, blow up, and create this incredible amount of spaciousness and creativity. So please do not think that you get to outgrow cash flow, because you really don't. No business that seeks to be sustainable will ever outgrow the cash flow conversation, because cash flow is what keeps a business in business. So I am here to talk about where to get started when you come to the cash flow topic. And what I want to share and remind you of, for those of you who are brand new to my spaces, I always talk about the 3 pillars of transformation. These are the 3 pillars that all of my work is based on. They are the core central pillars. There are 5 in total, but these are the core 3. And those core 3 are your mindset, your skill set, and your habits. Mindset, skill set, and habits. Someone drop that in the chat for me, because these are the things that need to be up leveled if you want to create sustainable success in anything in your life. Yes, cash flow, yes, business, but also if you want to lose weight, if you want to learn a language, if you want to learn a new skill, if you want to create any sort of change in your world, you will need to look at your mindset, your skills, which will ultimately up level your actions, and your habits, what you do habitually rather than occasionally. Because first you make your habits, then your habits make you. And so when I was thinking and preparing for the show today, I wanted to make sure that I gave a really holistic answer. It's a booster shot show, so it's really short. We're not going to be here for like forever and a day. We're going to be really, I'm always intending to be really concise and to support you with power-packed insights and let you go about your business. But what I want you to understand, that we are seeking to make change in our mindset, our skill set, and our habits. Thank you, Namdi, for sharing that in the chat over on LinkedIn. I appreciate you. And so what I wanted to share with you is, where do we start in our mindset to win in our habits? Hey, Nzinga, thank you for sharing and letting me know that we're live over on YouTube. Great to have you here, awesome lady. Where do we start in our mindset? How do we up level our skills? What new starter, like from the beginning, habits do we need? And so I came correct, ladies and gents. I have a little micro list for you in each of those areas. So let's talk mindset. Where do we start in our mindset to win in our cash flow? Number 1, boom, honesty. Oh, yes, ladies and gents, none of this works until we get honest. And the reason why none of this works until we get honest is because we as human beings are built for self-protection. And part of that self-protection is the way that our ego will lie to ourselves in order to protect how we feel about ourselves. And so one of the biggest, my frustration, and I'm not going to lie, it is frustrating to me, but one of the biggest problems or challenges I see when it comes to cash flow, it isn't what people do or don't do. It's the fact that they won't be honest with themselves. I speak to people every day who say things like, oh, well, money, it really isn't that important. I'm not in it for the money. Oh, it's not that bad. It is that bad. You are in it for unless you have found a way to get food and shelter and clothing without money. And then in which case, like, put us on, we all want to know. Every person on the planet is somewhere about the money. That honesty changes everything. We have to get honest. And the thing I will say to you is you will never win in your cash flow if you are not first honest about what cash flow actually means for you and your business, for you and your life, for you and your greater later. If you can't be honest, then there's never going to be any reason for you to make any changes. And boy, we're human, so we are good at coping. We are good at self manipulation, and we're good at lying to ourselves. Let's be honest. Oh, it doesn't mean that much, and your heart is breaking in two. Yeah. So, where we start is honesty. If you have to be willing and honest with yourself that you want better from your cash flow. If you want better from your cash flow, wave at me, raise your hand, drop me a yes in the chat. I'm waving 2 hands, and yes, I am the queen of cash flow. But the reason I'm waving both my hands is because we do not create the change we want if we don't admit we need change in the first place. I'm not stumbling at the very first hurdle. So it's not that bad. It's going to keep you from the support and from the change that you want to see. So honesty is number 1. Humility is number 2. Someone drop that in the chat for me. Honesty number 1, humility number 2. We have to get humble. And this is particularly important around cash flow because we all have money in our pockets and purses. And so because we have money in our pockets and purses, we're around money all the time. Whether enough or not enough is a completely different conversation. But because we are around money all the time, we think we know how it works. And yet that is one of the biggest mistakes I see, that we think that proximity equates to mastery. I am around it all the time. I have proximity. I am close to it. And so I understand how it works. And what I will say to you is we may well be around money all the time, but most people do not understand how it works. It has taken me years of study, years of action, years of testing, years of failure, resilience, fortitude to learn any of what I know about money right now. And I am still very much learning. I am still very much on the journey. I am still very much going back to basics. We need to humble ourselves and remind ourselves that if we are in a position where we don't have what we want yet, favorite word in the dictionary, yet. If we do not have what we want yet, it's just because there's something we don't know yet. And therefore there's something we're not doing yet. That humility is so potent because it means that there is opportunity for change. There is a reason to change, and we are coachable and open enough to actually allow that to be in our lives. So wave at me, drop me a yes in the chat if you are willing to be humble and say, I don't have what I want yet, which means there's something I don't know or something I'm not doing yet. Because just because it is the way it is right now, it doesn't mean that's how it's going to be forever. So that's number 2 on the humility. Number 3 is a sense in your mindset where you start is reminding yourself that just because you don't know something doesn't mean you can't learn it. So it's an understanding and a quality of recognizing that money and cash flow is figure-outable. Thank you very much, Marie Forleo. That word, the first time I heard that word, it was from you. Money and cash flow is figure-outable. You can figure it out. You can learn what you need to learn. You can get to know what you need to know. It is not beyond you. It is not above you. It is not too far away that it is inaccessible to you. And owning that sense of agency is so important. Why? Because you are who you've been waiting for. You are who is the most important person in the life that you have and any future transformation you want to make. Who you are looking for is you, not your boss, not a client, not a friend, not a spouse, not a any other, but you are the hero in your own damn story. So be the hero and recognize that the power, the agency, the opportunity, it is in your hands. You are who you've been waiting for. And so it is with that in mind that they are the 3 starting points when it comes to your mindset. Number 1, honesty. Number 2, humility. And number 3, I'm just going to call it figure out ability. I know that's not a word you'll find in a dictionary, but you know what I mean. Jump in the chat, ladies and gents. Let me know that this is landing with you so I can tell you where to start when it comes to your skill sets. I hope you can see, ladies and gents, that those mindset starting points are so powerful. They are so important and they need support. If you do not start there, nothing is going to track and nothing is going to fit into where it needs to be. And so with that in mind, let me share where you start when it comes to skills. Now, the skills that you need to bring in cash, there are many that you need to have the skills of being able to make an offer, to create an offer, to communicate value, yes. But the 2 kind of starter skills that I want to offer you, number 1 is what I like to call the skill of making meaning. The skill of making meaning. And what that means is you need to get really clear about what you have made certain things mean. What does it mean, for example, for you to go out and sell your offers? I was speaking to someone the other day and I was having a really interesting conversation because one of the things that she said was, oh, I don't want to feel like I'm selling all the time. And I was like, let me stop you there. You're a business owner. What are you supposed to be doing if not selling all of the time? I'm like, if you look at an organization like Coca-Cola has spent billions of dollars every single year for, many decades. And yet they're still marketing to you today. They're still trying to get you to buy that next can of Coke. They are still doing everything that they can to help you to buy their next offer. Why? Because they're a business and they sell. And the meaning making skill that you have is so important. If you tell yourself that sales is something that you should only do occasionally, only benefits you, then you will act in alignment with that belief. So the skill of recognizing that everything that you have in your world, you've given it a meaning. Money has a meaning, business has a meaning, who you are as a business owner has a meaning, sales has a meaning, yeses have a meaning, rejection has a meaning, saying no to your offer has a meaning. They all have meanings. And the thing is that you get to decide what those meanings are. I believe it was Tony Robbins who said nothing has meaning except the meaning you give it. So what happens if no means next opportunity? Instead of, oh my gosh, you're a scumbag, your offer is terrible and you're never going to make any money. The ability and the skill to make meaning is absolutely where we start when it comes to cash flow. We need to understand what we have made things mean because that is what is driving our behavior. The second skill is about stories. Our storytelling, one of the most important skills that we have, and often the one that we talk about in terms of content. But honestly, when it comes to cash flow and business, storytelling is one hell of a skill. You need to be able to tell the story of the transformation of your offer, the story of why you do what you do in the way that you do it and why it's important to you. The story of the offers that you are sending out there and the good that they're going to do in the world. So storytelling is your powerful start point when it comes to creating success in your cash flow. You have to be able to tell yourself stories that serve you. You cannot tell yourself stories about what it means when someone says no that leaves you in bed for the next 3 days, unable to speak to anybody. The skill of storytelling is so incredibly important because it leads to the other skill of emotional sobriety, being sober in your emotions rather than constantly being drunk all the time on your feelings, incapable of being able to take a balanced approach to what you need to do. So, that skill of emotional sobriety, along with the other skills of making meaning and storytelling, are exactly where it starts when it comes to cash flow. Now, you might be surprised to hear these skills. You probably thought that the first skill that you needed was to be like a brilliant, communicator because you need to create sales. Yeah, you do. But none of that will shift without these elementary skills. These are the skills that are foundational. And we're going to talk a bit more about sales in a second because that's where we need to start when it comes to habits. So, those three skills that you need to get started on are meaning making, storytelling, and the third skill around emotional sobriety. So, now let's talk about this where you get started on those habits. Come into the chat, ladies and gents. Let me know that this is still landing. I am Oluwafemi. Thank you for letting me know about the skill of storytelling. It is so important when it comes to cash flow. The third and final area, that pillar of habits, these are where you start when it comes to creating and winning with your cash flow. So, habit number one is self-talk. The habit of how you speak to yourself, who you know yourself to be, is everything when it comes to this, your success in your cash flow. Why? Because if you tell yourself that you're a brilliant, amazing person when the money comes in, and you're a terrible trash human when it doesn't come in, you are setting yourself up for not only feast and famine, but actual heartache. You are setting yourself up for heartache on a repeated basis. You have to understand what money actually is, and it is nothing that adds to the value of you. And so that's habit that you have of self-talk. Who are you? Who is it that is looking back at you when you look at yourself in the mirror? That habit says everything about the self-talk that you actually have and what you believe of yourself as you move into the second habit that I want to talk to you about, which is sales. You do need to build a sales habit. Now, that might feel like bad news to some people, but the good news is that to sell is human, and you have been selling your whole entire life. If you have a girlfriend or boyfriend, husband or wife, you have sold. If you've got children, you are constantly selling. If you have ever made a friend, you have sold. Selling is how we interact as humans. We sell our ideas. We sell concepts. We sell the notion of us being good people to hang around. These are things that we sell long before we ask for cash. And so the thing I want to really make clear to you is while selling is a skill and selling for cash is a skill that you are going to need to get great at, the great thing is that you have been selling your whole entire life. But you need to up level your sales skills. And some of the other things that I mentioned earlier about where to get started will really impact that. Understanding what sales is, understanding the story you have been telling yourself about sales. That really will shift how you act and how you show up and how you behave in a sales scenario. And so the final of the places where you start is you need to get good at receiving. Yes, I said what I said. You need to get good at receiving. You need to be conscious of the need to be willing to receive. And it is never lost on me how much time we spend wanting to create cash and being terrible at receiving. And I'm talking about receiving anything. I'm talking about receiving compliments. I'm talking about receiving grace. I'm talking about receiving, cash from other people, gifts. It always amazes me how many people want to go and get, but then don't actually want to receive. It's wild to my mind. But that tension of not being willing to, accept gifts, accept compliments, accept and be in receipt of grace, or be willing to wrangle and create a new definition story around leverage and debt. It is so important. If you want to get good at cash flow, you have to get good at receiving, at not constantly being the one that does, the one that gives, the one that sends out, sends out. No, you need to be good at being able to receive, at being able to hold, and at being able. You see how excited I am? I can't even like get my words out. At being able to be that person who is able to go take that action and then call in and create and hold the cash that they want. Thank you, Esmara, for what you shared in the chat. You said I created a receiving log and it changed the game. Mine too. I also have a receiving log. I track everything that I receive from a cash perspective in the business, and it changes the game. Being able to log my receiving, to actually presence the gratitude I have for the things that I'm in receipt of, is such a gift. And so the one powerful truth I want to give you today, before I give you my actionable tip, is to remind you that every winner was once a beginner. Every winner was once a beginner. That is a truism that I hope really encourages you today, because I've just given you 9 whole things and you might be like, whoa, that's a whole lot. What am I going to do? How am I ever going to win? And I just want you to know that every winner was once a beginner. So the only thing you need to do to get on the track of winning is to begin. You only need to begin. And so my actionable tip for you is, I gave you 9, but I'm going to ask you to look at 3. Because for me, mindset is what separates the best from the rest. So I always invite people to start in mindset. So when it comes to honesty, humility, and figure outability, Yinka, making up words. My actionable tip for you is to ask yourself, where do I need to up level? Do I need to get more honest about how important this is so that I will prioritize it? Do I need to get more humble and admit that I probably can't do this myself and need some help? Or do I need to see myself a little bigger and a little more capable so that I will stop acting like I can't possibly figure it out? Someone else will have to come and rescue me, and I'll actually take charge and seek to get it done myself. Right, ladies and gents, that is everything I wanted to share with you today. Thank you so much for joining me live. It's been so great to see so many of you in the chat. I'm so sorry, there were some other people. You came up for me as LinkedIn user, so I couldn't see your names, but I will go into the chat after my next meeting, which starts in exactly 1 minute, and I will come into the comments and come and say hello. So my favor I'm going to ask you is, please come into the chat and share your biggest takeaway. What did you take from this Booster Shot show? Number 1. Number 2, now you've heard the message. If you are still here, if you haven't already done so, tag a friend. Now you know what we spoke about today. Who do you know that needs to hear this? Yes, I specialize in helping women in business, but this message is on public social media, it's on Beyonce's internet, so it can be for anyone. Tag a friend, tag 2 friends, tag 5, reshare it. Please make sure that as many people that you know who want to win in their businesses, in their lives, gets a chance to hear this message. And number 3, ladies, if you know that you're like, yeah, I need to start winning on my cash flow, and I think I like the cut of your jib and I want to find out more, then drop me the word win either in the comments or the DMs, and I will happily share more about my work and about my support with you. But in the meantime, thank you so much for joining me live today. Oluwafemi, thank you so much. I'm so glad that you appreciate it. I appreciate you joining me live. If you are watching on Team Replay, drop me a hashtag replay to let me know that you did that too. In the meantime, ladies and gents, take care. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and I will see you all in the spaces. Take care. Have a good one. Bye bye for now.